In my 20s, I went to the therapist and complained that I didn't want to get married. I said I'm educated, independent, and self-sufficient. I don't need a husband, but my parents are pressuring me. What do I do? She replied, I have no doubt you're going to achieve great things in life. But sometimes things will go wrong, and sometimes you'll fail, and sometimes your plans won't work out, and sometimes your wishes won't be fulfilled. Then who will you blame? Will you blame yourself? No. Exactly. That's why you need a husband.
Yeah, guys, because accountability, what's that? You know, you got these ladies out here, they want to be strong, independent career women, okay, and then they'll chase their careers until they're 40 or 50, and then they'll turn around and want to blame the men for not being there for them. It's like, guys, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Okay, you can chase your career if you want. You know, you can chase the bad boys if you want, but don't be surprised when you get to the end and no man wants to commit to you for marriage. Okay, but what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, we're actually going to be taking a look at a longer video today, which I thought you guys might find very interesting. And I'm just going to pull it up here on the screen. Maybe you gentlemen have seen this before, but it's going to be quite an interesting watch. Before we crack into it, guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe on your way in. Come and join the Discord link in the description and the locals link, guys. Both of those are totally free to join. YouTube does not like our channel, so if we get taken down for any reason, guys, like I don't know how long this channel will be around for. So if we do get taken down or whatever the case may be, you'll be notified on either of those. And like I said, both of those are totally free to join. But we're going to jump into this video today because, like I said, guys, I think it's an interesting watch. And I think we can all have a bit of a, see what's going on here.
I published a post called Men Prefer Debt-Free Virgins Without Tattoos. And I knew it was a catchy title, and I'd had it in my blog for a while before I published it, kind of working on it, figuring it out. Do I want to publish this? Do I not? But I had no clue that it would take off like it did. I was outside on my deck trying to find cell service to publish it, And as soon as I published it, it got hit. It was slammed.
Yeah, and the reason that it got slammed is because a lot of the girls can't live up to those things. Debt-free, tattoo-less, haven't been around, okay? It's like, not a lot of girls meet those criteria, and make no mistake, those are preferences that men have. Okay, and the thing about society at the moment, gentlemen, is we've gotten to the point where if you have preferences as a guy, if you have standards as a guy, well, those things are just the M word. Right, like you're awful for having those things, but ladies out here, they can want the 6-foot guy, which by the way is not changeable. You can wear some shoes and maybe a hat, boys, but it's not a changeable asset that you have. So you got these ladies walking out here wanting 6-foot dudes, making 6 figures, very difficult task to do. Well, not a lot of people, guys, like, if you take into account those two factors alone, you're dealing with a very small percentage of men. But you know what? It's all you go, queen. You can have whatever you want. Never settle, right? If you get a guy who's 5'6", 5'7", just keep your eyes peeled for the next best thing, and all that's encouraged. Like, I don't understand people come to this channel or we'll review videos where they say, oh, women's preferences are shamed. No, they're actively encouraged. Men's are the ones that are being shamed at the moment. But yeah, the reason why her article got so much press is because, one, men generally agree with it, and two, the women get really mad at it because they can't live up to it.
And the women, about an hour later, a woman in the chat room shared I don't know if it was the first write-up out of hundreds, by a woman named Felicia something, starts with an H, her last name. And she just blasted my article. And Lindsay, one of the administrators of the group, shared it and said, it's like she didn't even read it. And then another one, another famous marriage blogger's daughter ranted and raved. She did a YouTube video on my post and said, crying, I just read the most horrible thing I've ever read in my life. It's like, are you kidding?
Yeah, welcome to this side of the internet. You make videos like the ones you guys see on this channel. Oh, you're a terrible person. These are the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. How could you? And it's like we as men generally, we don't understand that, because it's like, hey, look, we're just saying what we would like in a relationship. Hell, guys, we use essentially, I don't think I really use vulgar language over here at all. I try not to attack people's appearances or anything like that. sometimes it may slip out a little bit, but like, guys, we try and keep it really tame over here. Like we genuinely do, and yet you'll still have people going, that is terrible, that is awful. Like we as guys, we're just saying, hey, be careful of these experiences. You know, maybe you could not do this, maybe you can do that. And you know, people watch this sort of stuff and they go, ew, that's totally disgusting, totally terrible. How dare you encourage men to have preferences and boundaries? You want to know the funny thing about boundaries, guys, is if you're a man with boundaries, to other people, it just looks like you're awful. Right, so let's just say you don't reply to a girl's text message because she's being crazy. Okay, well then all of a sudden you're this emotional manipulator, terrible man because you didn't reply to a text message. It's like, you know what? Maybe I just don't talk to people like that. You know, it's like maybe I don't want to deal with hassle in my life. Is there something that's so terrible about that? The fact that men want peace and serenity in their life is like a fact that people just get so frustrated about. No, you have to commit to a girl. You have to be in a relationship. You have to do this. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of hearing that men have to do things. Okay, why? Like, can I get a reason why? Why are we supposed to get married? Literally in nowadays, guys, if you want to get married, I don't know what to tell you. It's a huge risk. It is against you. It is not something that benefits you. And yet we're told, hey guys, if you're a real man, you're going to go out and get married. If you're a real man, you're going to commit to a lady no matter what she does. If you want to address her past and anything that she may or may not have done in the past, oh, you're awful. Because her actions should not define her. I seriously don't understand how we've gotten to that point, guys, where like your actions just don't define you. You know, like try applying that in the court of law with criminals. It's like what you do, guys. What you do can put you in jail. It defines who you are. I don't get it, man. I just don't.
Kidding me? With all the filth that's going on in our culture, this is the most horrible thing she's ever read in her life.
Yeah, because if it were true, then maybe she's going to be alone for the rest of her life.
And before I
Which it is.
published that post, I didn't take surveys or even researched if men preferred debt-free virgins without tattoos, but I used common sense. Why would men want a wife who had loads of debt and to bear that burden? And I know a lot of men take that on, and it's hard. God calls debt bondage, and he tells us to owe no man anything. So it's much better. I think men much prefer to marry a woman that doesn't have debt. Common sense.
Yeah, see, common sense in 2021. That's a little bit. You're talking a little bit offensive language there. We might have to strike you down, madam. I say that jokingly, guys, but a lot of this stuff that we talk about here, it's common sense. And I don't say that to the guys who come across this channel and go, "Oh man, I can't believe I didn't know that." It's not as if you're dumb for not knowing this stuff that we talk about on the channel. Okay? A lot of society just doesn't want you to know this. Because look at it this way. If we were all, able to watch channels like this and learn from other men's mistakes at an early age, hell, we'd get a lot less men getting married. Okay, we'd get a lot less men fathering children that weren't theirs. We'd get a lot less men being in relationships with girls who don't necessarily deserve it. You see, like all of this, it's literally designed to make men lose in 2021. Just stay quiet, guys. Don't learn anything. Don't learn from other men's mistakes. Okay, just be quiet. Just go through the marriage process. And just have that happen to you. And that seems to be the message. And I don't know about you guys, but I think there's something highly wrong with that. But that's where we're at right now. You see, your common sense, this lady's common sense, which shout out to her because it is common sense. Yeah, it offends a lot of people. It really does.
And then a virgin, why do you think Muslims are common knowledge that men want virgins to marry, and even I guess to sleep with? I don't know. I don't research that kind of stuff. But
I love how when like I said, shout out to this lady. Okay, she's using some common sense, but I love like the instant defense of her social status. Right? It's like, oh yeah, I don't research that stuff. Anyway, moving on. This is something that girls will do like instantly, man. And again, no disrespect to this lady. I just find it important that we got to point it out, guys, because it's good for men to understand these little things that they can or cannot be lies. Who really cares? But it's just interesting to see how there's such a huge difference between the fact that we as men, we're not as nitpicky. We don't even notice this kind of crap most of the time. But for girls, it's like if they notice that their social status or how they're perceived by other people is on the line, they have to immediately correct it. You know?
They want to know that a woman that they marry, when she's having a baby, it's going to be her baby. They want to know that their wives are going to be faithful to them. And it's a lot easier to be faithful to one's husband if one was a virgin for marriage. And God commands older women to teach women to be chaste. So I'm commanded to teach women to not be sexually at all before marriage. And so this is what I do. And that's what I was doing in this post.
Yeah, and I mean, look, not a lot of girls will do this. Okay, and if they do, and I'm not saying that this woman in particular is doing it, a lot of these girls will come to this conclusion later in life. Okay, because only after going through all of these situations might they finally get the idea that, hey, maybe if I'm having relations with another person, like just a relationship, not anything. Like if you're trying to have a relationship with another person, whether that be friendship, romantic, or otherwise, it's like you've always got to understand what the other person is looking for in it. I don't like the idea that men are encouraged to go into relationships and we're kind of told that it's not a trade. Like you don't have to bring anything. Like this crap of, oh yeah, man, you just go out in society and you'll find your partner, you'll find the love of your life. It'll just take time. And you've got to show her that you care about her, and that's what's going to make your partner come to you, and that's how you're going to live happily ever after. I don't like that idea at all, because it gives nothing constructive to men. Like, what are you, as a guy, supposed to take away from that? Like, what are you supposed to learn? You're going to waste, like, 10 plus years of your life if you follow that. You're going to go to university, you're going to, or, get your job, work hard, you're going to save up for a house, get your mortgage out, maybe pay it off, maybe almost pay it off, whatever the case may be. Then you're going to get a girl that comes around, probably with a couple of kids, and you're just, like, what? You're a provider. You've just been trained to be a provider. You don't get to have any of the fun. All the other guys, the chads, they're out there having their fun, but you know what? It is your responsibility to take care of someone who has made poor decisions in their life. And that's how men are taught the relationships work. Not that they're a trade at all. Okay, and the point that I'm trying to make here is that girls will go into relationships with the same idea. They'll go into it thinking, oh, this isn't a trade, I am the table. He just has to accept me. All these guys want me, so he'd be lucky to have me. And then they realize too late that, hey, maybe guys will have you for an hour or two, on a Wednesday. Okay, but they're not necessarily going to keep you around. Like, the guys that you're chasing have options too. Why would they keep you around? You're not taking into account what they actually want. You can be a fun girl if you want to be, but that's very different to what a wife is. Let's continue.
And then with debt-free virgins without tattoos, I wasn't, I didn't research that either, but after I read it went so viral and all over the world, everyone was talking about it. I did research it, and men do prefer those things. The majority of men do not like tattoos on women. They get gray with age and wrinkled skin. They just like the way God created us, the flesh that He created us in. And so I had to try to figure out a way to to justify that all of these positions biblically afterwards, since it got so huge, and so many Christians just wailed on me for posting that. And
let's talk about that for a second. I will add one thing to that. Tattoos are not just something men don't want because they age badly. Okay, like, as you get older, obviously men are not going to be as interested anymore, regardless of whether you have tattoos. But there's something else about tattoos that kind of makes them a bit of a deal breaker. Like, you've got guys out here who will like tattoos, who will not like tattoos, who like physically prefer, you know what I mean? Like, guys will have different preferences for sure. But the thing about tattoos is they're a red flag. They're a mental marker for girls. Okay, and the reason for that is because tattoos demonstrate impulsivity. Okay, and we'll get guys over here saying, Taylor, a little one is fine, or one over here is fine. Sure, like, you can have gradients to what you will and won't accept, but the fact of the matter is that if someone is putting ink into their skin, it is a sign, and it is increasingly a bad sign when they have multiple or big ones or chest ones or whatever the case may be. It shows impulsivity, and impulsivity is not a characteristic that you want in a long-term girlfriend. That to me is one of the biggest reasons why tattoos are red flags, because it's a demonstration of personality more than anything else. And that demonstration is not conducive to a good wife, at least in my opinion, guys, or a long-term partner for that matter.
I still don't understand that to this day, because debt is bondage. We are to teach women to be chaste before marriage, because that's God's will for us, and it's his perfect will, and it protects women in so many ways. There wouldn't be the abortion, the STDs, the broken hearts. I think it even leads to divorce, the divorce mentality. And then the tattoos, once you get them, you have them for life. And I think a lot of young women, that's the thing now. So they get the tattoos, and most people do regret them as they get older. And so,
the funny part about what she just said there as well is like the note on protection. Okay, and here's the thing about protection. Oh, girls will want protection when it suits them, but then they'll also want to be strong and independent when it suits them another time. You see, it's like, on the one hand, they'll go, I don't need no protection from a guy. And then on the other hand, when something bad happens, or, maybe they're running out of time in the dating market, then all of a sudden they need protection, and I like a man who's there for me. You guys heard that, right? I like men who are they're just there for me and they're stable. I want someone who's willing to emotionally connect with me. Emotionally connect, guys. I mean, it really is kind of sad how, like, I don't like how we as guys, we tend to take things in a more, when we look at words that are being said to us, we kind of take them more literally. We think that when people say things to us, it's more in line with the truth. So what we'll do is we'll take their words and then we'll go and apply it. But oftentimes the words people say, they don't even mean anything, man. They really don't. Oh, I want a guy who's just stable and there for me. And you come to find out that she could have had that choice all along. And there for me means open your wallet. Okay, I just find that kind of disgusting that people will play on men's willingness to kind of take things objectively and at face value. A lot of the things that ladies say, you can't just take them at face value. And I don't say that to be mean to girls who do this or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying that we as men, when we process this sort of information, we have to be a bit more cynical about it. Because oftentimes what people say is just the surface of either what's going to happen or what their intentions actually are.
So I didn't understand the outrage. I understood the outrage from unbelievers and why that would offend them. But I didn't understand the outrage from Christians. And I know a lot of women were saying, well, women who have slept around, that doesn't mean that they don't deserve to not get married. I
Interesting take from the ladies there for sure.
didn't say that. I said men prefer. And this is what God commands too, that you remain a virgin before marriage. But if you did not, which very few women are being taught to remain chaste until marriage.
Yeah, they're being taught the opposite. Like the literal opposite is what is being taught.
And so they sleep around. It's even in the church, it's rampant. So then even if they become strong believers in Jesus Christ, repent, become new creatures in Christ, walk in newness of life, and are transformed, often they still have scars. Oftentimes, sleeping around before marriage, women have abortions, they get STDs, and that's why God tells us to flee the youthful desires of lust, of youthful desires of lust. I can't remember exactly, but it goes something like that. He tells us to flee that, and he also tells us to flee fornication, because he knows the sins that we commit in our youth can harm us for life. They leave scars. Yeah,
Well, it's not just you that they harm either. Okay, like the mistakes that people make, guys. If we just want to talk about young ladies here for a second, if girls want to go out and engage in all this behavior, that's totally fine. That's their decision to do so, guys. I personally don't give a crap. But the problem is, if you go through all of those experiences, and make no mistake, a lot of them will be bad experiences. Girls who have this kind of impulsivity and go around and do this stuff, they will go through bad experiences. They'll be attracted to guys who won't commit to them. They'll be attracted to guys who want nothing to do with them long term. And then what they want to do is they want to get into a relationship after the fact, like a long-term relationship with a guy. Maybe they want to quote unquote settle down, even though their heart's not really in it. Let's be honest. Um, they'll want to do that, but it's not just you that all of those experiences affected. You go, oh, I'm so upset. All these guys used me and they treated me poorly, right? Not only is it just going to affect you doing that, it also affects your guy that you're trying to quote unquote settle down with, because now he's going to have to deal with the fact that you're, one, always going to be looking for something better. Two, you're most likely going to be trying to hammer out behaviors out of him, right? Like you're going to come with a set of negative influences on the man that you're with. And that's just the fact of the matter. So it's not all about like the damage it causes to you. It also causes damages to the guys who want to get into relationships with girls like this. It's a headache, man. Like it's a real headache. Like you will see guys around here get into relationships with girls who have engaged in this sort of behavior, and it's going to be very difficult on them. The marriage, the relationship, whatever they're in, it's going to be strained, to say the least.
We're forgiven. Yeah, we're made new creatures in Christ. Every single sin we've ever committed or will commit is forgiven the moment we believe in Jesus Christ. But it still doesn't mean that older women like me aren't supposed to warn women about fornication and to teach them to be chaste and sexually pure before marriage. And I want to do that, and I will continue to do that. I wrote a post the other day on my Facebook page and said, 2 things I learned from posting this post. You must not teach women to be sexually before marriage, because it completely offends those women who weren't sexually pure before marriage. And I was just saying this sarcastically, and women say, you believe that? It's like, are you kidding me? I still teach it all the time. And I also learned that you can't teach women what men prefer, because that greatly offends women. Well,
That's crazy, isn't it? I mean, that's where we're at the moment. And what we will say, guys, about this whole girls getting, you can't teach that because they get offended. Dude, people's feelings has literally just taken precedence to the truth. You get that? It's like you can't talk about what's the truth, what's objectively true, or men's preferences and stuff like this, because other people don't like how it makes them feel. Okay, you're not allowed to talk because we don't like the way it makes us feel, even though there's nothing objectively wrong with it. You're not allowed to talk because we just don't like the way it sounds, right? And we can literally get you in trouble for the way that things sound. Excuse me, guys. We've had warnings on this channel, and they haven't even told us what for. Like I haven't told you guys yet, but we've got a second warning now, right? Which it's like they haven't even told us what the warnings were for. And we try and keep it real, like the language really fine over here, guys. Like we don't attack people. I try and give people credit for their, for when they say things that I think are, good. Okay? But we're still getting out here warned, and for what? They won't tell us. Because they have nothing to say on it, guys. It's like, it's just, okay, well, if we perceive you to be offensive, then that means you're inherently doing something wrong. If we don't like your opinion on something, it means that you're doing something wrong. It's like, what? And the funny part about that is, man, like, how far away? We're probably already there. Like, I'm sure many people are just going to cite instances to me right now, but in the comments. But we're really approaching the point where literally, who am I saying? This has happened. I'm completely trolling. It has happened. Where when people make accusations, they're just taken as the truth regardless. We've gotten to the point where literally you just don't need evidence at this point. Like, you don't need evidence to make serious accusations or anything like that. It's just, hey, lots of people think this about you, so it must be the case. And I think I saw that literally on Fresh and Fit the other day. And, and I keep bringing up Fresh and Fit, guys, because it literally shows what we're talking about, just like in real time a lot of the times. But we're going to wrap up today's video here, guys. I just want to see if she's got anything else to add at the end.
you know what? I'm not in the business of catering to women's emotions, and I don't worry about offending them. If you're not offending women who teach truth, you must not be teaching truth, because truth will always offend. Jesus Christ, as he walked this earth, offended many people. John the Baptist, Paul's writings, the apostles, they all offended people. Truth will always offend people, because we live in a wicked, wicked generation who hates God, who hates truth. But truth needs to be said. People need to hear truth, because it's what changes people. It's what transforms them. It's what saves them when they repent and ask for forgiveness. So no, I don't regret publishing that post one bit, because if I did, I would have taken it down. My husband was real surprised when I told him, went upstairs and told him.
Okay. I mean, that's a good way to end it. I think that's a fantastic way to end the video, guys. Bit of a long one. I just kind of wanted to go through this video with you, see what you guys think about it. But we're going to call today's episode there. So, gentlemen, make sure you leave your comments and thoughts in the description. As always, it's good to see what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed or you liked the videos, guys, make sure you subscribe on your way out. Come and join either the Discord or the locals links in the description, or both if you'd like. They're totally free to come and join, but that way you'll be notified if anything happens to the channel. I hope you enjoyed, guys, and I will see you boys in the next one. Peace.